So the writing of this DLC was really different and kind of fun because when you usually meet the characters in Borderlands, they're in a very stressful situation of like, oh, the world's going to end and we have to stop Jack and all that stuff. And there's only sort of a certain spectrum of emotion you can have within that kind of situation. But having them basically just sort of sitting around, and there's like an entire quest about how like Loth and Brick really like Game of Thrones, and you know there's one about like how Tina doesn't like eating salad, and you know just really seemingly boring stuff like that. But because it's in this really weird context, hopefully it ends up being still kind of funny, and it allows you to see a sort of different side of these people. Like Lilith goes into her backstory about how like she was a nerd as a kid and people made fun of her and all that kind of stuff. That if you brought that up during war, you would kind of just look like an asshole. So.
There's a lot of challenges that go into making DLC, whether it's campaign-style DLC or character DLC. They each have their own challenges and limitations. With the campaign DLCs, we have a lot of leeway in terms of what exists inside the levels. Because every time you go to a new level, you have the same pile of memory that you can consume. So we have a lot of leeway for new artwork and things like that stays in the level. What we don't have a lot of leeway for is things that can exist anywhere in the game. So that includes your guns and your gear and abilities and things like that need to exist no matter where you are. So that often limits what we can do in the campaign DLCs.
Fan feedback is really helpful in a lot of ways, especially in regards to this DLC, because we got different pieces of fan feedback and we tried to work on as many of them as we could. So one of them was we want more stuff to do with Iridium, which is the slot machines that Paul talked about. One of them was we wanted our player characters to talk more, because the characters in the game are kind of just silent ciphers, except in combat where they just say one-liners and stuff. We got a lot of people saying, that's cool, but we kind of want them to talk during the plot and be relevant during the plot, so we added a bunch of sections in the plot where depending on what character you are, you'll hear different dialogue, essentially. And that was kind of fun to do.
If you have things that people, that one person loves and another person hates the exact same thing, we're generally like, okay, we're in a good place, because those are the kinds of decisions that we want. So we're always looking for ways within our characters, within our weapons, within our gear to make things that are going to create strong reactions in one way or another. Another thing that we take a lot of feedback and are listening to is our fans will let us know about little bugs and other glitches that they've come across. And what's nice about campaign DLC is they always come with a title update. So we have an opportunity to address some of those bugs and issues that the fans have found whenever we release new DLC. So there's a few fixes in coming along with the new campaign.
Jason was freaking out about the slot machines and that stuff. Like, he
he
came by like 3 different times across the week. Like, oh man, I can't believe we're gonna get. And just I was like, dude, okay.
Yeah, it's a slot machine that you. Yeah. Calm down. He's like, because he does. Because it's Jason.
Yes. What they're talking about is we have a new slot machine. Everyone loved the slot machines. That was probably the most exciting new feature of Borderlands 2 for the fans was the slot machines that you found in Moxie's a bar. Instead of doing missions and fighting monsters to get your guns, you just had to pull a lever.
Do you like Borderlands 2 but hate all that strategy and fun? You'll love this.
Just pull the lever. Well, it turns out a lot of people like to pull the lever just as much as they enjoy the rest of it. So we had a problem, which was players have spent all the Iridium they could on all the upgrades that they had, and there was nothing more to buy with their Iridium, but they have a giant pile of it. So for this DLC, we wanted to make sure that there were some new things that players could use their Iridium for. And so this slot machine that Jason was excited about is a new way for people to spend Iridium. So this is a slot machine they can spend their Iridium on to get new gear and loot. So and it's all Tiny Tina and medieval themed and everything. So we're you guys and your damn tea. We have some new weapons in the DLC, but and we really wanted to try to capture that swords and sorcery kind of feeling with them. So, for example, we have grenade mods that are named after famous spells from your tabletop game. So you might find a grenade mod called Magic Missile, and it works a little different than regular grenades that kind of lob in and bounce and explode. They kind of shoot out straight and have sort of magical visual effects. And your characters will, sort of announce them, sort of like you were doing a live action role playing kind of thing. So there's like lightning bolts and fireballs and fun stuff like that. We even have a gun that shoots swords, which was kind of fun.
That explode.
Because we wanted to, how can we get swords in there, and that's so our vessel for all that kind of stuff is the weapon. So you find this really wacky gun that shoots these little bitty swords that explode into more swords and so on. So we had a lot of fun with exploring some of that.